Yes, my dear friend, welcome back to the channel. Very good morning to you wherever you are around the globe, on the continent of Africa, in Europe, in America, in Canada, Australia, or right in Southeast Asia. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a beautiful, beautiful Wednesday morning here, and a good day to you wherever you are, dear friends. Well, tomorrow is our game against Copenhagen. What are your expectations? Preparations have gone on very well so far. No news, no bad news. But today, later this afternoon, we'll be hearing from our head coach, Enzo Maresca. And I'll be ready. I'll be here and I'll bring you every detail, every information that he has for Chelsea fraternity. Dear friends, last night there were games that were played, Champions League games, and one player that stood out, in exception of an error which led to goal. In exception of an error that led to a goal, is one of our loanees, yes, Chelsea loanee to Aston Villa, Disasi. Axel Disasi on loan with Aston Villa. Listen, Disasi is creating a big market for himself in the summer. If Chelsea are no longer interested, the young guy is creating a big market for himself in the summer. He's been a top loanee for Aston Villa by far, or so far. Their fans are falling in love with him. To be honest, looking at his performance, if not for that error that led to a goal, trust me, this guy would have scored 8.9. Yes. Even now, if you look at his rating after the game, 7 points. That is still a huge, rating. It is a huge rating for him. Dear friends, Aston Villa, apart from the poor defending for Brugge's goal, he was pretty good throughout the game. He was good throughout the game, especially defensively. He was not so good going forward as a right back, but good game in general. He had a good game in general. He's not the type that goes forward. Once he goes forward as a right back, he's not able to come back to cover up his position quickly. That is the only thing. But in general, he is putting up a good fight for himself. Dear friend, Axel Disasi versus Club Brugge, 19 out of 24 accurate passes, 1 key pass, 4 passes into the final third, 3 clearances, yes, 2 interceptions, 4 recoveries, 6 out of 8 duels won by the young man. Why is it that when our players go on loan, they seem to do well? They seem to be doing well on loan, but when they are with us, we don't seem to get the best out of them. What is the problem? Is it that the setup, they don't fit into the setup, or when they go on loan, they end up meeting players that are a bit higher than them, and there's leadership in most of these things. That is the way, maybe leadership problem. For instance, that back line, Chelsea's back line of defense, who is the leader? If Rhys James is not around, who leads the back line? Levi Cowell, 21. Is he the leader in that back line? Macucurella or Malogusto, is it 1920? Who is the leader in that back line? But when they go out, okay, now we take a look at this guy also. This midfielder that is with Dortmund, what's his name? Kane Chukwuemeka. Kane Chukwuemeka, we understand, I need to verify that he sustained injury in the Champions League last night. But I'm yet to verify that. But Dortmund, since the guy arrived in Dortmund, he's been doing quite well for them. Yet in our setup, he's not getting football. So what is it that our players are not able to function properly? They are not able to play to their best when they are with us. But when they go on loan, they are on top. Now, we understand Dortmund will only exercise the purchase option, that's a buy option clause, for Kane Chukwuemeka if they qualify for Champions League or the Europa League next season. So if they qualify for Champions League or Europa League next season, then Kane Chukwuemeka automatically will become Dortmund player as we speak. Dear friend, for me, this guy needs regular football. We know the talent Chukwuemeka holds. He needs a regular football. I just pray and hope that the injury news that I heard is really not the truth. Yes. All right. quickly, before I go to some other important news, transfer news on Chelsea radar. Club Brugge 1, Aston Villa 3. Champions League football result last night. Club Brugge 1, Aston Villa 3. Dortmund 1, Lille 1. PSV Eindhoven 1, the biggest winners of the night. Arsenal 7. PSV 1, Arsenal 7. Real Madrid 2, Atletico Madrid 1. I'm taking that again. Real Madrid 2, Atletico Madrid 1. You see, this pairing was a home derby. Both Madrid clubs. It was a home derby. But trust Diego Simeone. In the next round, in the second round next week, you will see how Diego Simeone is going to tweak his system. They're going to meet Real Madrid one-on-one, boot by boot. No, trust him on that. Next week, I will come back here and I'll give you the result. This game, it's going to end up with goal concede, goal scored. Just wait and see. Atletico Madrid will make sure they will come back into this game next week and they'll score. All they need is 1-0 win. All that they need is 1-0 win. Yeah. We will see next week, dear friends. Now, all 17 goals scored. 17 goals scored in the Champions League game last night, dear friend. 17 goals scored in the Champions League game last night. Well, if there is anything that Chelsea need to worry so much about right now, is our next Champions League opponent after beating Copenhagen. If we are able to beat them tomorrow, and then next week, our next opponent are likely to be Real Betis. Now, I saw a video actually online earlier today where Real Betis players, there were two cards. Chelsea and one other club. And they were asking Real Betis players, who do you think will be your next opponent? They were being asked, who do you think will be your next opponent? Almost 90% of Real Betis players, including Anthony, pointed at Chelsea. That should tell you the desire of Real Betis. They really want to come to London. Real Betis CEO Ramon Alacon said the other day, Anthony told me that he wanted to stay another year. The player is very comfortable here and was surprised by the facilities we gave him to settle in the city as he arrived. Do you know why I brought this up? There is something about the environment you live in. When you go to somewhere new, the way you'll be welcome, the environment will determine your input, especially when it comes to club football. As a new signing, Anthony from Manchester United, now that are fighting relegation battle. Oh yes, 15, 16, you are fighting relegation battle. Going to Real Betis, and all of a sudden, it's like the shackles were broken off, and the guy, we can now see Anthony that we saw back then in Holland. No wonder. He said the player is very comfortable here and was surprised by the facilities. Does it mean that in England, he was not given the best of facilities? Which kind of house was he given? Does his house have a swimming pool and a gym? A mini bar? A helipad? Oh yes, some players have a private jet, so having a helipad, should not be a big deal. After all, Cristiano Ronaldo have a helipad in one of his houses. Yeah? Dear friends, so these are the things. When the player is comfortable, he will deliver. He will give the best. Well, quickly, let's now get to some transfer news for Chelsea. Dear friends, what is happening with Chelsea right now? Transfer news. Well, this is happening right now with Chelsea. Chelsea are still interested in 16-year-old Brazilian attacking midfielder Gabriel Meg. 16 years old Brazilian midfielder Gabriel Meg. Talks with his club, Gremio, are ongoing. But there is still no agreement yet. Other important clubs also want him. 16 years. You know, I purposely kept this for last. This guy is only 16 years. not 17, not 18. Means that it will take him 2 years to come to the Premier League. It will take him 16 years before he will come to the Premier League. I mean, 2 years more to come to the Premier League. He's only 16. What does that mean? Prospects. And by the way, what is it that these young players, they are seeing in Chelsea? I mean, why are they accepting the deal for Chelsea? If I were a parent, I wouldn't allow my son to go to Chelsea at this moment. No, it would be a wrong choice. Because, trust me, 90% of these young players that Chelsea are buying will not have the opportunity to play for Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. 16 years, the potential might be there. But in football, players lose form, players get injury, anything can happen. So what is it that parents and agents are pushing all these young guys to Chelsea? We understand. Chelsea's challenge is not necessarily persuading Gremio to release the player, who they almost agreed a fee with last summer. Oh, so we started pursuing the guy from last summer. The Brazilian club are open to a sale for a fee in excess of 20 million pounds. 20 million pounds for 16-year-old. And the Brazilian club will insist on a sell-on clause. We are buying the player, 16 years old, for 20 million pounds. And the Brazilian club also still want a sell-on clause. So in case, in 3 years' time, 2 years' time, Chelsea want to resell the player for, let's just say, 30 million. They still have to split that profit of 10 million with Gremio. I don't get it. If, like I said earlier on, if I were him or if it's my son, I would advise him to go somewhere where he can make name. Chelsea have so much in the same position. We've gotten Kendrick Paez. We've got Estaval. We've got players in those positions that even now, that are not getting playing time. Forget about 2 years time or 3 years time. He's been touted as the next Neymar. I mean, the next Ronaldinho, sorry. Yes. You understand? Chelsea at, Meg, who is already being compared to Neymar. He's being compared to Neymar and is viewed as Gremio's best talent since Ronaldinho's time. So he's been compared to Neymar. But there is no guarantee for his future. Well, dear friends, it is your breakfast. Like I said, I'll be back with more exclusives in the coming hours after the coach's press conference. Yes, the press conference will get to know availability of players for tomorrow's game against Copenhagen in the Conference League. Dear friends, it is happy breakfast to you all. Enjoy your day. I will be back with more exclusives in the coming hours. Shalom and peace.